up next, folks, Albie is going to talk about whether gender identity theory is progressive. Start the clock.
Is gender identity theory progressive? Is it progressive that we've moved from a society where we tell girls that it was fine to play with toy cars, or boys that it was fine to play with Barbies, to one where if you like activities that don't match your gender, that you're not normal, or that perhaps your gender identity doesn't match your biological sex, or maybe you don't have a gender at all? Or is that just playing into gender stereotypes? Despite me being broadly socially liberal, I think it's wrong that we're telling people that if you like girly things, you've got a female gender identity, and if you like boyish things, that you've got a boyish gender identity. I think this new way that we think about gender identity and gender in this country more broadly is wrong. I think the old ways were much better, where we simply said to people, you can be whatever you want to be within the gender that you were assigned at birth. So what do you think? Is gender identity progressive or not?
Oh,
well done.
Well done. I mean, I worry, Albie, right, and I think this is a pertinent question. I actually worry that young gay kids are actually growing up and thinking, and in some cases, in the Tavistock whistleblower reports, they actually said some parents were saying, I'd prefer a trans outcome over a gay outcome. So I think I think actually there's a real homophobic streak to this penchant for pushing gender identity onto kids and saying, you're not actually gay, you know, maybe you're straight, but, you know, we need to chop your breasts off and all the rest of it. I think it's a really horrible ideology.
So I guess based on what you've just said, would you say that gender identity theory, which is seen as the most progressive thing in the world at the moment, is actually progressive or regressive?
Totally regressive.
It's homophobic, misogynistic dross.
Lawrence, I'm interested to hear what you have to say, because I know that you're the only one on the panel that has children.
Yes.
And I'm sure that you would
true.
say that your son or your daughters, it was fine for them to play with Barbies or toy cars, regardless of their gender. So why is it that progressive parents seem to think that this gender identity theory is the right way to go?
I have this saying, which is they are the exact thing they accuse you of. So I would say that the trans movement is deeply homophobic. And the transing away the gay, which is what they're trying to do with all of this stuff. And, you know, we came so far as a society to the point now in 2023, being gay is just it's part of you, it's your hardware, and we all accept it. I mean, I'm sure some people don't. But the trans thing is a software issue. It requires you to actually upgrade your body to deal with it. And gender ideology, for me, is pure Satanism. It needs to be utterly removed from society permanently. And that includes, I'm really sorry to say, every single transgender person on this planet needs to be told that they're ill, they have a problem, and that problem can be cured.
But
That's
then, Lawrence, some would argue that that was quite an extreme point of view.
Me?
Emily, do you think that perhaps if we can accept that people are gay, why can't we just accept that they're trans in the same way?
Well, I had a bit of a difficulty on Twitter the last couple of days, because I posted that I would like to know, I would like the teacher of my child to tell me if my child was saying they were a different gender at school. So if my child, Sam, turned up to school and the teachers were calling him Samantha instead because he said, that's my preferred gender, that's my preferred name, I would want to know. This suddenly caused a Twitter storm. I was accused of all sorts. I was told that I would not be fit to be a mother. I was told that I was transphobic. All across the English-speaking world, people were tweeting me, having a go at me left, right and centre. And I think that is utterly damaging for children. They should not be going to school and being affirmed by their teachers that they are of a different gender. This should be a discussion that happens at home with your parents. The teacher should tell the child's parents if their child is suffering from gender dysphoria, isn't comfortable in their own body. We know for a fact that many children are suffering with other mental health problems. They may be autistic, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And teachers will sometimes, and I'm not saying all teachers, but some teachers may well affirm a child's gender just because it's easier or because they believe in the ideology.
But Patrick, what about in cases where there are children who are genuinely transgender and the parents are, or perhaps young adults who are genuinely transgender, and the parents are transphobic, and so the teacher, perhaps of a sixth form student who's 18 years old, doesn't want to tell the parents that their child is Sam instead of Samantha.
Yeah.
In that case, is that not reasonable?
For a start, what I think is happening here is, yes, again, a little bit like with the Black Lives Matter stuff, it's something that really started kicking off in America, and that is more of an America-specific issue than it is over here. I think there will be more people out in rural America who will say that, you know, no son of mine is going to be trans or gay, etc., more so than you will get over here. So I think we are over-exaggerating any issue that there would be with parents, and I think what we're doing now is having unqualified people planting ideas in children's heads, then doctors who I think are either on a power trip or potentially mentally ill themselves, putting life-changing things in kids from a very young age and ruining the nuclear family by not allowing parents to do the basic function of parenting, which is talk to their kids.
May I just come in there, because I'm particularly worried about girls. I am a woman, and when I was of school age, there were all sorts of fads. There was so much social contagion. Take anorexia, that's the classic
size
example.
0.
Once someone starts limiting their food and over-exercising, some other girls who are already feeling a bit anxious or a bit depressed jump on the bandwagon and start to eat as little as possible, and they get very ill indeed. I do worry that the same thing is happening in our schools with the transgender stuff, because girls, you know, often don't feel comfortable in their bodies at that age, and they wonder what else is out there.
Can I ask, why is it the assumption that parents won't be able to deal with that in their own home or be loving and kind about it?
Because they hate the family.
But teachers will. When I want to have a look at how some of these teachers are raising their kids, because I know parents who are teachers. I'm not saying anything too bad about them, but I don't think they're any better than I would be.
I mean, the actual stats, though, show that a quarter, that's 25% of young adults are using they, them pronouns. I mean, does this not suggest that this contagion is far beyond America and actually it's seeping through? I mean, the kids of these days in our schools are basically force-fed ideology like a geese receiving fattened up for
I know, but you can't criticise people for having groupthink.
It is also
60 million people threw a completely useless vaccine in their arm.
But it is also a good thing. On a different topic, I think it is also a good thing now that children.
Oh, there we go. Well, that's all we've got time for on that one.